So I think that we can all agree that DMZ needs a spark, and the devs are about to try something new that I think could give the game mode more legitimacy and increase the hype leading into Season 2. There's no real way for us to get an accurate concurrent player count for just DMZ, but the Steam charts for Warzone as a whole are very telling. When the game released on November 16th, the player count peaked at almost 500,000 players. Unsurprisingly, the numbers are not sustainable. The hype for a new game will always dissipate shortly after launch. What is surprising is that just 3 months later, we're at less than a third of that number, now to floating around 100,000 players. By no means are those bad numbers, but you also can't say that dropping over 300,000 players is a good thing. And that's just for Warzone on Steam. This doesn't take into account Battle.net and all the consoles. More importantly, we don't get a breakdown of how many of those players are for just DMZ. But if numbers are dropping for Warzone, it's safe to assume that they're also dropping for DMZ. Now enter the first big DMZ event on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 16 trios of some of your favorite Call of Duty creators will work their way through a variety of challenges in DMZ, competing for their share of $30,000. Now the reason this event matters is because after the hyped up launch of DMZ back in November, we haven't really seen a lot of new content or improvements. Less than a month into the release, we got Season 1 Reloaded, which brought with it a new map of Building 21. This gave us a whole new location to explore with new features like increasing AI threat levels throughout the match and the removal of the TAC map, forcing players to rely on in-game maps posted near the stairwells to navigate the building. It was a fresh and much needed content addition that, while it was exciting at first, unfortunately only sheds more light onto the existing issues with DMZ. Outside of the bugs, the constant crashes for some players, and the AI being turned into Terminator bots on crack, the actual problems with DMZ are so much deeper than that. Look, complaints of those things are legitimate and need to be taken seriously by the devs, but let's pretend for a second that all of them are fixed. No crashes, the AI are well balanced, and game-breaking bugs just aren't happening anymore. The lack of a worthwhile in-game and meaningful progression outside of the faction missions are still the main things that are going to hold the DMZ back from long-term success. Building 21, while being intense and a nice change of pace, still has no benefits that are greater than Al Mazrah. What I mean is there's really nothing you can get there that you can't just get on Al Mazrah. Of course, there's the grenade launcher you can obtain from killing Velanok, and the weapons cases to extract with new cosmetics, but the gear, the loot, the weapons you can find have no major value that differs from the other map. The contraband weapons you can find there are definitely better, but who cares, right? Like, the devs really haven't given us that much reason to care about what contraband weapons we have in our stash. With access to our insured gunsmith weapons, contraband is just an afterthought, and looting doesn't really matter. There's so many items in the DMZ that just have no use. I proposed several potential solutions to these problems in previous videos, but I'm not a dev. I can honestly say that I'm not sure of what features they could add that wouldn't negatively affect the systems that they already have in place. Regardless, the DMZ, because of this, has just been kinda floating around in a state of limbo. Either you've made the decision that you're dedicated to its development and you're sticking around, or you've jumped ship and need to see some change before you return. Actually, it would kind of help me out if you guys could let me know in the comments below whether you're still playing DMZ or if you dropped off, why. And while you're down there, if you want to stay updated on DMZ news and guides like this, consider subscribing if you haven't already. It's also the best way for me to gauge if this type of content is what you want to see more of. Either way, Season 2 is going to be the real test to see if these devs have any intentions of bringing in additional features to reward players and give the mode more depth. But right now, they need to get the hype up again. They just need to show players that they believe in the future of this game mode leading up to this next season. I think the DMZ Gauntlet is a smart move for this, as unlike Warzone, the DMZ isn't about fast-paced PvP of the last team standing. It's slower, more tactical, and it's got plenty more to do besides just looking for kills, which should make this event much more unique to watch than the standard Warzone tournament. They still haven't announced who they're inviting as of the time of me posting this video, and though it's a long shot, I'm putting my foot in the door, as it really sounds like a lot of fun that our community would enjoy. So if you want our community represented in this gauntlet, click the link in the pinned comment, like my tweet, and make sure you @ me in the comments of their announcement post to let them know they shouldn't just invite Swag or Timmy or whatever, but also creators that have focused a lot of their time on DMZ even before its initial release. 99% sure that nothing's gonna come of it, but can't hurt to try. After that, I highly recommend checking out this video here, as we discuss features that the DMZ could add to give the mode insanely more depth and risk for reward. Check it out.